various issues that are being brought before the commission members. What was it like for you, or what is it like for you now as far as having to make those decisions and taking into consideration all areas and all facets of each decision? What's that like for you?
Well, yeah, I started out kind of like how we talked a minute ago about with those boards. I started out with the Realtor Association and the MLS, which is a multiple listing service for realtors, and they're just a nonprofit that helps with running with all we do. Realtors, we work together as an association, just like how churches do. And I started out there, and then I ended up running for the Board of Education. So I actually served on the Board of Education for 2.5 years before I decided to run for county commissioner. But when I ran for county commissioner, things in the area down here that affect Pinehole Shores a lot. It affects Atlantic Beach, Indian Beach, Salter Path, Emerald Isle, all the people that live on boat banks, and the mainland people in Carteret County too are wind insurance and the cost and the rising cost, and to fight, because right now Eastern North Carolina, in my opinion, is subsidizing the insurance in the western part of the state, and they use that catastrophic event, the hurricane, to blame it on because passing insurance increases isn't popular. So they keep a lot of the voters in the western part of the state happy. We don't have enough votes down here to kind of vote some of those people out sometimes. So it gets tricky, but I mean, it's you're always trying to figure out how you can help and what's the best thing. You can't make everybody happy. That was the one thing my wife really got on me for when I decided I was going to serve. She said, you're going to make half the people mad and half the people happy. And I said, yeah, but somebody's got to do it, and it involves giving your time, and there's got to be a commitment. Growing up here, like you talked about earlier in the interview, my family living here for several generations. I love Carteret County and call it home. We refer to it in our marketing from the Travel and Tourism Authority as the Crystal Coast, and the beaches, the waves, the sand. It's a great place to do a lot of things here, whether it be marlin fishing or scuba diving or parasailing, kayaking, swimming. We have the most visited state park down at Fort Macon at the other end of the island throughout the state. So I'm proud to serve here, and that's why I put my name in the hat, because I think that there's always that balance between moving towards the future but being mindful and respecting the past.
In case you're just joining us, Mark Mansfield, Carteret County Commission Chairman, is our guest on Closer Look on 92.7 Positive Encouraging KLOVE. I'm Frank Hammond. Chairman Mansfield, when do the commissioners meet?
We meet the third Monday of every month, unless we need to meet. Then obviously we call special meetings. Usually that meeting starts at 6 o'clock, and right here it's over at the Beaufort Courthouse, and we meet in the commissioner's room. And then during budget season, we meet twice a month, and it's usually the first Monday and the third Monday then. So through budget season, generally sometime May through the end of June, sometimes in April we can, and then some we'll have. When I was first elected, we called them retreats. And over in Pinehole Shores, sometimes we meet at the Trinity Center, or we meet at different locations over in Red City at the Civic Center. But we would have meetings where we brainstorm and think about the upcoming things for the future, what needs we need to address and what the focus will be, and talk about how we can do things better with different departments and issues that may be being pushed down from the federal government or the state government, and how we need to address those. I kind of tried to, since I've become chairman, to call them workshops, because there's not anything a retreat about it. It's an all-day work session with plenty of preparation. And I would tell people that's the stuff that you don't see from the outside looking in, the amount of reading of material that you do prior to stepping into a meeting. And if you have the fortunate or unfortunate circumstance of coming to a meeting, I always say it can kind of look like watching paint dry sometimes, or sausage being made. It's always not the most pretty thing, but there's a lot of work that's gone behind the scenes, from our clerk preparing packets and providing information, us requesting more information, us looking at things, people asking questions. You have the meeting, you get to see that side of it, but you're just kind of seeing the tip of the iceberg during the meeting. All of the preparation and work went into it before that. And then when the news media comes in and covers it, they're watching a 2-3 hour meeting, and they're writing an article or doing a piece or a story, and they're giving kind of the summary of the meeting. And so you're just kind of getting excerpts. So it's kind of like going to a football game or a basketball game or a soccer match and watching the game, but then if you didn't go to the game, going to Sports Center the next morning and watching it on the news and getting the recap. So sometimes you get the facts, but without seeing everything contiguously, it may lead you to believe one thing or another. So I always ask people to just call us or email if you have a question. Just verify what you hear.
And as far as public comment, is there public comment on each session?
Every regular meeting, so we have a regular meeting once a month. So during budget season on the every other 5 meeting, we do not have public comment. But once a month, we always have public comment. They get 3 minutes to speak, and as many speakers that want to sign up can. And we've had the past, 7 or 8 months, we've had a lot of public comment, which I think has been very good. It's always good to hear from citizens. People that come to meetings, there may be 15 speak out of 70,000 residents, so you have to look at what's being said and do your research. Commissioner Robin Comer told me when I got elected, some of the best advice I've gotten for serving as a commissioner. He told me, look, I'm not going to ever tell you anything. I'm not going to lead you astray and down the wrong path, but I don't care if it's me telling you or it's another commissioner telling you or the county manager telling you or a citizen telling you. Do your own research, check it out, listen to all the sides of all the stories, because life's about perspective. That's why I try to, when you make a decision, because if you're sitting on the beach and the sun's rising and you're sitting out there and you look at that reflection on the water, that setting out there on the beach looks one way. But if you're sitting out there at lunchtime, that beach can look, that color of the water can look completely different. And then all of a sudden you're out there at sunset. It's a completely different look at sunset than it is at sunrise. And then to go out there and walk on the beach at midnight with all the stars out in the sky and still hearing the same noises, but you can't see as good. So life's about perspective. I think you have to make sure you try to look at things from all angles and represent all the people the best that you can.
Making sure that you're participating and giving advice, comments, and feedback to our Carteret County Commissioners is vitally important. Mark Mansfield, our Carteret County Commission Chairman, is our guest on Closer Look on 92.7 Positive Encouraging KLOVE. Mark, as we begin to wrap up here, residents can come, as we've just stated, on the third Monday of each month.
Third Monday.
At 6 p.m.?
6 p.m.
You have to sign up in advance to speak.
To speak, you sign up in advance and you put your name, your address, your telephone number, and the subject you're speaking on.
And the meetings typically last, if it's not an overly packed agenda?
There's no typical in this business. I mean, sometimes we've had a meeting probably as short as 45 minutes, and most of them last 2 to 3 hours.
Okay. And where does the public comment fall within that?
Generally, we start the meeting off with a prayer. We have pastors and preachers and come share with us and open up the meeting, and then we say the Pledge of Allegiance, and we have a conflict of interest statement, and we usually ask people to turn their cell phones off or their personal devices so it doesn't interrupt, and then we approve the agenda for the evening and the consent agenda, and then after that, it's usually number 5 is public comment.
So it's very early in the meeting.
Very
so
early in the meeting.
Have a chance to come in and share what your thoughts are, present your comments to the entire commission. So if someone would like to find out ways they can become involved, maybe it's one of the events that happens here across Carteret County. Real quickly, as you think about from the beginning of the year, January going through December, what are some of the major events that maybe someone could volunteer and help out with?
I don't know that I'm sharp enough to roll them off in chronological order, but I'll do my best to share some with you. In early June, we have the Big Rock Blue Marlin Tournament. In first weekend in October, always, we have the North Carolina Seafood Festival. I think it falls somewhere around the third weekend in May. That may vary a little bit, but we have the Crystal Coast Boat Show. The first weekend in December, we have the Core Sound Decoy Festival. Right there, somewhere in December, we have the Crystal Coast Flotilla. In May, we have the Beaufort Wine and Music Festival. In May, we have the Atlantic Beach Music Festival. And then we have the Wooden Boat Show over here in Beaufort, which they have a boat building competition. The youth, they see how fast they can build a boat, and they actually have to row across the island and come back. It's a pretty neat event to attend. And then in August, we always have the Beaufort Pirate Invasion. And here in Carteret County, we're the home of the Queen Anne's Revenge. It sunk off the coast right off the east end of Atlantic Beach over in front of Shackelford Bank. So we even though Edenton likes to claim Blackbeard, he did stay here some and pilfered the coast, and we claim him to fame too.
Mark, I just want to say thank you so much for choosing to serve. You are a public servant, and sometimes everybody's not always applauding or not always happy about every decision that's made, but you're making those collectively as our commission, our Carteret County Commissioners, and residents can get in touch with you. I bet you have a Facebook page people could like you on.
I do. It's Mark Mansfield. It's a politician site. It's actually a Facebook page off my personal site that's Mark Mansfield.
Okay, and if somebody wanted to find out more specifically about something the Carteret County Commissioners, you just go to carteretcountync.gov, I'm guessing?
That's correct.
And then look up commission.
Then it has my email address, and you can email. Or I'm in the real estate business with Remax Ocean Properties, and you can find me anywhere on the internet, and you can email me my personal email address. us. Just Mark Mansfield at remax.net also.
If they want to give you a call, what's that number?
252-342-5568.
Mark, thank you again. I appreciate your time.
Yes, sir. Thanks a lot, Frank.
You're welcome. If you'd like to find out more about the Carteret County Commissioners, you can go to carteretcountync.gov, and you can find out more about Closer Look by emailing us at closerlook@klove.com. That's closerlook@klove.com. For Closer Look, I'm Frank Hammond.